Hey everybody, it's Bryan here. I'm at our beautiful offices in San Antonio, Texas for Computer Solutions. I'm here with Ken Knight, our VP of Managed Services for NetWatch. Say hi, Ken.
Hello all.
So, just like the last show we did, I really want to show off some of the great resources that Computer Solutions has. And obviously, we're a great provider of managed services. I've sold and worked with managed services groups in my career a few times, but never one as specifically engineered and really heralded as NetWatch. And so I'm excited to represent NetWatch, but I need to know a little more about what NetWatch is and why we do it different or better or who we fit for. So just want to have a quick conversation with Ken Knight about who he is, why he leads NetWatch and what NetWatch is, and maybe a few other details. So with that, Ken, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Ooh, okay. Let's see. I've worked at Computer Solutions since roughly 2015. Moved here from North Carolina. So definitely enjoy Texas, the economy, the values that the state and most of the people here have. Family man. I've got a wife and 4 children. Heavily into sports.
Okay.
I feel like that's a year-round thing right now. My oldest is starting high school. I've got one in middle school, one in elementary school, and one in pre-K. So
you're in it.
A little busy.
Yeah, you're in it.
Yeah, matter of fact, right now, football is starting to be in full effect, and I'm coaching that. So I'm sure a lot of people understand what it's like to have kids and then be juggling both career and profession, and also being a parent and all the things that go along with that. So
that's cool, man.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Yeah. So of all the sports, which one's your favorite?
Ooh, I would say, I'm a football guy.
Football.
Yeah, football is the one I enjoy watching the most, playing the most, coaching the most, and have the most experience. But I've got my kids are split. I got 2 boys and 2 girls, and so man, it's interesting. Whatever sport's going on is what you're the most into.
Yeah.
And so all my 3 older kids who are in sports right now all play basketball. And so definitely big into that. I'm probably a poor basketball coach, but probably a better parent in that aspect. And then, definitely a better football coach. It's hard to sit still in the stands, so I'm better on the field. And then my oldest is actually starting to play volleyball, and then my 2 youngest are playing golf.
Very cool.
So, yeah.
You've acclimated to Texas well. When you're in Texas, your kids do sports.
That's right.
Yeah.
Man, everything's bigger in Texas, including sports.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's good.
So obviously you're a Cowboys fan then.
Absolutely not. And I may
Dallas
lose.
market.
I understand. I'm sorry, guys. I'm from North Carolina. I've been a Panthers fan since they began. So 1995, I remember going to watch games at Clemson University because we didn't even have a stadium built. My only experience with Dallas fans directly was in 2015 when I just moved here, and the Panthers had a fantastic season. We were undefeated through most of it and ended up going to the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, we lost.
What'd you lose to?
We lost to the Broncos.
That's right.
Yeah. My quarterback decided not to jump on a loose fumble. And but going to the Cowboys Stadium was a great experience.
Yeah.
It's really pretty. I've got a handful of pictures of people leaving because the Panthers were winning handedly. A couple people falling asleep in the stands. So yeah.
Sorry, Cowboys fans.
Yeah.
They'll get
Little
there
digs.
eventually. Yeah. So
digs.
I could talk football all day, but I guess we should talk managed services.
Yeah, let's do it.
So why does a company with an IT team need to look at managed services?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the interesting thing about Computer Solutions is we're not young. We are we're a very tenured company. We've been in business almost 50 years. And so from a technology perspective, that is dinosaur aged.
Yeah.
But I think it speaks to the testament of our organization's ability to continuously listen to our customers and then be able to, adapt to what they're asking for. I mean, quite frankly, many of our relationships through manufacturers technical expertise, and even some of our hires have come because of our relationship with our customers. They're dictating what they want from us, and then we're appropriately adapting to it. And so, Computer Solutions has been in business for so long. We were the first Cisco reseller in the state of Texas.
Wow.
I mean, got a lot of technical depth around Cisco. Obviously, tons of other manufacturers. I mean, to be frank, I think we're somewhere in the 250 manufacturer relationships from a vendor or from a value-added reseller perspective. But if you think about us starting in that aspect, being a reseller, being a big integration company, we're really engineer heavy, right? So that's one of the reasons that a lot of people like to partner with us is we're not just another CDW, SHI type deal where we're just slinging product. We don't care what you buy. We just want you to buy something. We're very relationship driven. We want to listen to what are you trying to achieve? What's the business outcome? What's the business challenge? And then say, okay, here's the right solution for you. So when you interact with our company as a whole, it's much more about elevating the organization and the business outcomes they're solving for, as well as the person we're dealing with in their career, right? We know that this is a relationship and we want you to look good, and so we want to elevate you in front of your peers. And so, we're really good about making sure that we're very technical. We're bringing in those technical people, implementing those solutions, and managed services just couples up really well with that. So just in the same breath of us not being a transaction type business, we're relationship, right? So we're not going to manage something that we're not very technically able to support. And so our managed services team is somewhere around 35 people. They're all here in Texas. We're not subbing out like so many of our competitors are to whether it be somewhere onshore or offshore. You get to establish a relationship with other Texans.
Yeah.
So kind of the HEV model, if you will, right? Yeah. Everybody's here. We're very deep. Just like our value-added reseller and professional services team is really deep, not only in the number of people, but the number of certifications they hold and their technical ability. I mean, our managed services team is the exact same go-to-market strategy. Do what you're going to do it well, because at the end of the day, managed services is about responding well and remediating well. And you can't do that unless you have the right bodies with the right technical abilities.
So that's great description, not only of NetWatch, which is the title of our managed service offering or the name, but of Computer Solutions, right? I think you're spot on. Let me get back to my original question. Sure. At what point, in your opinion or through your experience, does a company, whether they're 200 users or 4,000 users or even more, what point do they say we need to look into managed services? Do you have a thought on that? Or?
Yeah, I think to answer that question, it'd be like saying, hey, what makes the most sense, being on premise or going cloud or doing hybrid? I think everybody's business is different. What type of industry you're in, what type of regulations or compliances matters. I think the same applies to what does it look like to augment your technical staff with a managed services. It's really case by case. I don't think that we force feed any of our customers.
Right.
I think our company does a really good job of sitting down with the decision makers at organizations and understanding, all right, what does your current infrastructure look like? What does your current staff look like? What are the problems that you've got in front of you? What are you trying to solve for? We've got a ton of banking customers, right? So those are typically spread out from a geography perspective.
Sure.
But they're also, there's a handful of staff that are potentially trying to take care of things. So for some of our banking customers, we manage just specific architectures, right? So this isn't a one-size-fits-all. For some, we're just managing, let's say, their voice. For others, we're absolutely everything. So we're doing voice, we're doing data center, we're doing networking, security, cybersecurity services, end-user help desk. So I don't try to tell someone exactly what they are needing. We listen. And when we listen, our customers tell us where they're needing assistance. A lot of times those relationships start off as us just being a small portion of their business, where we augment just maybe a specific architecture.
Right.
And then they learn how technical and how great our staff is, and they start to bite off on more. It also has a lot to do with what your existing staff looks like. If you're a startup organization, a lot of times it's easier to outsource completely your technology experience. Some organizations have an existing staff that's fantastic, but they've noticed that they've not been able to maybe take care of the end user. And so they lean on us to take care of the end user because we're able to handle a lot of priority tickets at the same time, and where they may say we'd have to hire a ton of staff in order to do that. So I don't know that there's an exact equation.
Yeah.
I think it's a case by case, and it's our job to listen and understand what you're solving for, and then be part of that solution.
It's not like buying a pair of Nikes off the shelf, right? It's like you said earlier. It's our solutions fit to the specific customer, what their needs and wants are. So there's not just every.
As a sneakerhead, I would disagree. I do like to wear a lot of.
You do?
Yeah.
That's going to do it. The next podcast, we'll get into fashion.
We can do that.
You'll lead that one.
Yeah, I'll lead that one too.
You're always dressed quite nicely.
Well, I enjoy the cool kicks,
Yeah, absolutely. Stay tuned for that one coming up. So let's get back to, I just wanted to talk a little bit about why NetWatch is different, because there's a lot of offerings out there. There's, you can find managed service offerings all over the place. I know you already mentioned one, which I wanted you to highlight again. You mentioned we're Texas-based, right? And there's smart, good support organizations worldwide. People in overseas. Sure, that's great, but I agree with you. I think as a user myself of technologies, as somebody who's worked, being able to talk to somebody in your same time zone, even living near you, obviously, just saves that much time. In my experience. And so you mentioned that, which I think is a huge differentiator that I know our customers like. Any other one or two big ones that I think really pop about NetWatch?
In the same asset or the same facet of a customer, us not giving the same pitch to everybody, we're trying to listen. I think the same could be said about what's our differentiator between us and our customer or our potential competitors. Absolutely. It depends. It depends on who we're talking about, because to the same point that we are Texan, there's other MSPs who are here local. Sure. Many of them don't have the number of individuals on the bench that we do. Many of them don't have the number of technical staff that we do. A lot of times MSPs sometimes are two guys working out of their mom's basement, right? Or out of the back of a truck. A lot of times we run into competitors who are outsourcing their own MSP. Right. And so, that you get someone who is the actual technical person responding to your request is not an employee. They're a third party themselves. And so, what you lose in those situations is you lose what the left hand knowing what the right hand is doing. Right. You lose that communication. And at the end of the day, a managed services or partnering with a technology company is not about just having a request or a ticket responded to. There's an ownership and a responsibility that company is promising the customer. We take that to heart. When you outsource that or you're really small and you lose your ability to scale, you're going to lose that relationship. Sure. And we've got customers who have been with us for multiple decades, and that matters to us. And so I just think at the end of the day, all of our managed services accounts are different. There's no two that are exactly alike. And our technical individuals know the intricacies of their business and what they're trying to solve for. We listen to that. That's why we've been successful. Sure. I would also say that one thing that we do that's a little different than some of our competition is we assign a technical account manager. Those are relationship people that partner up with the sales team just to make sure that everything from a technical perspective is being adhered to. You're not getting into a situation where your infrastructure is getting old. It's not been able to be supported. They're also making sure that the customer's happy. Just constant touching base. We're also doing business reviews with the customer, just making sure that they know exactly what we're doing. We're keeping them abreast on some of the things that they need to be considering when it comes to, let's say, the upcoming budget or how are they planning to scale. And then also we do a good job of just shutting our mouths and listening and let the customer tell us what they have, because we want to listen and we want to make sure that we're malleable to their business. So.
Yeah, I mean that makes a lot of sense. Having the proverbial one throat to choke, right, is really everything. As crude as that sounds, when you're dealing with a stressful situation or you're trying to make a relationship, right? Yeah. I've got one that you hadn't mentioned, and in my short tenure at Computer Solutions, I've found is that Computer Solutions recently was awarded for the 8th year in a row best place to work in South Texas, right? And I think that's obviously a bragging point for us as employees of Computer Solutions. It's a really nice place to work. Culture is very healthy and everything. Yeah. But I think that actually translates to customers, right? Because when you've got a staff of people, whether it's their frontline account executive or the VP of Managed Services, or obviously the team supporting your solution, if they're happy with what they're doing, they're probably going to stay a little longer than the other girl or guy. You're just going to get better service from them, right? It's going to bleed through into the solution. Do you agree?
No, I do. It's interesting. I mentioned earlier I moved here from North Carolina, and I remember flying back home. And but I think even before the plane had touched down back in North Carolina, I got an email from our president. He says, "Hey, I just want to give you a heads up. We just won Best Places to Work in San Antonio." And I thought, wow, isn't that convenient, right? Slide that in as we're trying to woo you over. The funny thing is, after accepting and coming over, we've actually won the Best Places to Work here locally for 8 years. We've gotten third twice and fifth once, and it continues to get better. I think the interesting thing about obviously that's a nice award, right? But how you feel when you work here is really what's important.
Sure.
Who you're working with and who you're working for matters. The people at this company care deeply about those that they're working with, as well as with our customers. I think it shows. Obviously in those surveys. But I feel like everybody here is pulling in the same direction. We know what's important. And then, we listen to our employees. When they tell us that they're looking for certain career aspirations, we want to make sure that we're not a hindrance to that, but we're a part of that growth. Yeah. And so depending on what kind of position they're in, constantly we're going after certifications to help people, expand their careers. We're a lot of our great transitions, if you will, as an organization have come because we're listening to our employees. So it is a great place to work, and I think that shows. And I think that when you're having that experience with us, you feel it. You feel as if you're part of our organization, and quite frankly, we feel as if we're part of your growth. So it's interesting. I think that's one of the cool things about our business is we're not transactional. We are deeply ingrained in what our customers are trying to solve, and when they see us getting Best Places to Work, man, they can feel proud that they're part of that too.
Yeah, I love Herb Kelleher, who was a pioneering leader for Southwest Airlines, had a quote, and I'm going to butcher it, but it essentially said, you take care of your people like you want them to take care of your customers. Yeah. And so Southwest, obviously being a Texas boy myself, is my favorite airline. And I just feel confident we're going to get there on time. And stewardesses and stewards are always great, so I think that bleeds through here at Computer Solutions as well. So two more questions.
Sure.
Say you're interested in managed services and want to get a picture of like how we price or any specifics about our offering. Can you give just a very high level of how we're priced?
Absolutely. So what we tend to do is we break things down based on what you're looking to have managed. We do that, if you will, a la carte based on the architecture. So let's say you're looking for us to manage your systems. We're going to look at what is actually being included, is how many servers, what type of hypervisor environment that is, what is their storage attached, or what's the backup solution. We're looking at those on quantity and also technical fit, right? Because we have a high standard. We want to make sure that you're covering your rear end and we're covering your rear end as well. And so there's obviously a lot of that consulting approach that goes into that as well. But we're looking at specific architecture. So we're going to look at what the data center equipment looks like. We're going to look at your network infrastructure. We're going to look at your security approach. When we get into the end user, we want to understand what that end user is how they're laid out, how much technology they're consuming. So we will manage based on the end user. We also have a standard security package. So I'm not telling you it's all encompassing for everything security, but it is a really fantastic first step. Everybody right now, if they're not already having an existing cybersecurity insurance policy in place, they need to be doing that, and you will find that when you're answering these questions every year, the list of boxes you need to check in order to get appropriate coverage and also be able to get paid out if something was to happen, that list continues to grow. I think our standard security package helps check many of those boxes, and then we also have an advanced security package as well. And so from that aspect, we're just looking to understand, what are you looking to have managed based on the architecture? How many end users? Are we doing a standard security package? And do we need to do advanced? So the advanced continues to grow. That list of what we're including, it's a bare minimum, an MDR and a SOC, but we're continuously doing more, right? We've got a great cybersecurity department here at Computer Solutions, and so incident response planning, disaster recovery plans, security assessments are always a viable option, and I think when you do those, it's going to give you a lot of insight as to where you need to focus on your existing infrastructure or policies, and how do we migrate our approach to kind of shore those up, make sure that we do have the appropriate coverage.
You're getting into one of my next shows, such security and managed services around it, IR, all the things you just mentioned. Yeah. Our whole conversation. So far we've gotten a fashion show coming up that Ken might lead.
Happy to do it.
And sneakers, we've got another idea, and cybersecurity. So thank you for that. Yeah. If you've got any feedback, audience, put some comments down below, and we'll go with that. So last question. Okay. This has been really awesome. I appreciate it, Ken. But what would you say is your spirit animal? And you can't use panther.
Oh gosh, man. Oh, I don't know that I would have a spirit animal. Yeah. I might say that there's certain animals that if I was going to go and get another animal, there's an animal I'd like to. I've got 2 dogs right now. Okay. Let me back up. My wife has a dog and I have a dog. My wife has a Maltipoo, right? Okay. And I have a German short-hair pointer, right? So a bird dog. If I was to go and get another animal, which I'm not, my wife would kill me, it would have to be a fainting goat.
A fainting goat.
A fainting goat. If you haven't seen them, you got to look them up.
I want to. I'm going to go right.
They're fantastic. Loud noises make them legitimately temporary paralysis. I love laughing, and I just feel like it would be a great addition.
Yeah. So, I think, like the Limu Emu. Yeah. Maybe a cop show with a fainting goat and a guy.
Yeah. You can't ride them. They're not that big. They're typically pretty small. But,
so you would just get a fainting goat for comedy.
Endless laughter.
Just like you're having a hard day and go out in the backyard and just yell at them real quick.
Absolutely. And for all those who are animal lovers, I mean, it doesn't hurt them. This is how they were made. So, but it's
maybe a padded yard.
It's great.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
They're fantastic.
Well, cool. Well, thanks so much, Ken. Any parting thoughts or anything else you want to say that I didn't cover or ask you?
No, I would say this. I am here to serve, and so my goal is to listen. I don't like to give the pitch, if you will. I like to understand who you are, what you're trying to solve individually at your organization. I like to understand what the organization's goals are, and then my goal is to put into to place, if we're able to partner on something. Something that is it's a win for your organization, checks as many boxes as possible, but also I want to make sure that our team is able to appropriately support the customer. Yeah. I do not want to make quick wins, if you will. I'm looking for long-term relationships. I'm looking for value adds for everybody. So
thanks again. And so obviously Ken is headquartered here in the San Antonio market, but he goes up to Dallas whenever we need him to.
Absolutely.
If you'd like to meet Ken, reach out. We can certainly have him come up and do a presentation, talk to you, just maybe talk about Panthers versus Cowboys or fainting goats.
Yeah, well, the Panthers don't play the Cowboys anytime soon. Okay. So that was just good for me, because right now the Panthers are atrocious. Yeah. It's tough. Yeah. But that's how you know I'm a real fan.
Yeah.
Still here.
I'm a real fan. Yeah. All right. Thanks, everybody. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. If you are in the market for managed services or any other IT services, please use the information on the screen or in the description to reach out to us. We look forward to speaking with you.